Please welcome to the stage the Fortnite World Cup Duo champion, Emil Nyrox Pedersen and his father Frank Pedersen. Also today's host, Tobias Heiberg Jørgensen.
Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the fourth Know-How EdTech event. And welcome to you guys,
Thank you.
Nyrox, Emil, and his father Frank, and a huge congratulations with the Fortnite World Cup Duo Championship.
Thank you.
Fantastic achievement. Let's give him a hand. So, Emil, when was the last time you played Fortnite?
I played Fortnite yesterday.
Yesterday?
Yeah.
Of course. And I guess you play a lot of Fortnite, of course, but how much time do you spend playing Fortnite each day?
I currently go to school 2 days a week. So those 2 days when I go to school, I normally play from 4 to 5 hours a day. And then the other days when I don't go to school, I probably play up to 7 to 8 hours.
Wow. I guess around 40 million people try to qualify to the World Championship. And you and your Austrian partner, Aqua, you won the duo. Can you say a little bit about what does it take to become a world champion?
Obviously, you have to play the game a lot, but then it doesn't help to play too much either. You need some very... it helps a lot to play other stuff and also do other stuff than playing. So what I normally do is either watch a show or I hang out with friends to get a pause or a break from gaming.
Mm-hmm. To me, there's a difference. You just returned from doing the European Championship, and that's totally online, so you play from your home all by yourself. But the World Cup that you won, the cup finals were physically in New York. To you, what is the biggest difference between the two?
The biggest difference is that when you play at home, it's calm and you sit alone, and there's no one that can disturb you or anything when you try to play. While when I was in New York, I could hear the commentators through the headset, and there was also a lot of noise from the crowd, so it's really hard to focus, while when I'm at home, I can play by myself.
Mm-hmm. As I said, you just played the European Championship, and you played that in a trio with two Swedish guys. How do you meet these people, and do you consider them as your friends?
Normally, I meet them through the pro community within Fortnite, but I actually met Joban, which was one of the players, in my first offline tournament in Sweden 1.5 years ago. And then I saw that he made a tweet about that him and his teammate Felix needed the last one for the trio championship. So I sent him a message and asked if he wanted to play together, and then we tried, and it was pretty good.
Okay, cool. Frank, when was the last time you played Fortnite?
I never played Fortnite, but I am. Maybe I can say that I'm the world champion in watching guys playing Fortnite. I usually sit behind Nyrox or Emil several hours when he's playing.
Yeah. You work on a daily basis as an event manager at the Norwegian Triathlon Association. So you're a sportsman yourself. What about playing Fortnite? Do you consider that as a sport?
It's 250 million registered player, 40 million tried to qualify for the World Championship. Out of the 40 million, I consider most of them as sportsmen. Mm-hmm. They need to be able to qualify for a championship and do the qualifying rounds. They need to be focusing on the mental health, train a lot on the techniques, and stay focused and be in physical good shape. So yes, I think they are, to a certain extent, sportsmen.
What about your son, Emil? Do you consider him as an elite athlete?
Definitely. He is an elite athlete, the same as our famous cross-country skiers on the national team in Norway. Same level, a high level of sportsmanship. He is focused. He is having his structured plan during the week. We decided together with Emil to stay at school, but less school than others, but for him to be able to focusing on his sport. And that means on mental health, structure in the daily life with physical activities, train on techniques, and of course play with the other professional players.
I think to many of us in this room, of course, we know Fortnite, but it's also kind of a hidden world to us. To you, knowing so much about it and following the sun, of course, what do you see as the pros and cons when it comes to esport?
Obviously, there is a lot of myths, and we have the imagine that these kids are sitting alone in the room, in a dark room for hours during the night, never sleeps. So of course there is a question about addiction. Maybe the studies so far hasn't shown that there is any addiction to it. But of course there is something also to the social life, meeting friends outside their house, and of course be too much into the game and not thinking about the school, the family life, the family activities. On the other side, there's a lot of positive things about gaming or esport. You learn a lot about IT knowledge, competence. You learn about friendship. You learn about how to communicate, at least. And you need to be tactical and strategic, good in playing when you are at Emils level.
Now you're talking about the skills that you gain from doing esports. Can you say some more about the maybe important life skills that you get out of being a gamer?
The most important, I think, and what I discovered through Emil's friends and Emil is emotional intelligence, social intelligence. There is a very good friendship in the community. When I was young, growing up, I was running out in the woods and going on country skis.
That's very Norwegian, I think.
Very Norwegian. Now we have to realize that these guys, they are hanging out with their friends through their headset.
But as a parent, are there challenges when it comes to social gaming, the environment in Fortnite?
A lot of challenges. It's frustration. For example, dinner at 6 o'clock, no show. A lot of discussions about how much time you should use on your PC and your keyboard. Family life, family activities, their social life. So there's a lot of challenge for parents, obviously, on this. But I think if you have a good communication and good dialogue and make a common plan together, this could be a okay situation for everybody.
I guess with your knowledge, that's also why you started to do talks about the myths, the prejudices of the esport culture. But can you say something more about why you do that?
I discovered that there is a hunger of knowledge and how to understand the esport. I mean, for Fortnite, it's 250 million registered players. And if you look at the population in Norway, if you take a population between 12 to 20 years old, and mainly boys, it's around 300,000 kids playing esport or a game. And I believe that we need to get more understanding out there for schools, for parents, for grandparents. So I like to talk about the positive things that we need to understand, that this is actually something positive for the kids. They learn a lot, they grow. Like this situation for Emil, it's an oral presentation. He learned to present, he learned to do other things than playing all the time on the PC.
And this is exactly why we invited you. Thank you very much, Frank and Emil. Give them a solid round of applause. Thank you. To me, this is exactly what the Know-How EdTech conference is all about. The influence of tech, not only in young people's lives, but in our lives in general. During the day, we will be presented to different perspectives when it comes to how tech influences the life of children and young people, and how to deal with that as educators and in education. Again, welcome, and now to some practical info. In an emergency, an alarm will be activated or a spoken warning will be given. Please follow the instructions and leave the premises. Emergency exits are marked with green exit signs. The assembly points, if an emergency should occur, is in front of the main entrance of Stavanger Forum. First aid equipment and the defibrillator are located in the reception of Stavanger Forum. There are not planned any fire drills or emergency evacuation tests during this conference, and smoking is only permitted outdoors. And now you might be thinking, what about the breaks? How do I know when to get back into this room when I'm standing there with my coffee? Normally at school we hear a bell whenever it's time to be back in the classroom. I, as a Dane, being the host, decided that today you will hear Danish popular hits. So whenever you hear music that you might want to run away from, it's actually time to get back into this room. Again, thank you everyone for joining us here today. Know-how EdTech, now for the 4th time, has more to offer than ever before. Both here in the main auditorium the whole day, in the workshops, and in the makerspaces out there in the lobby. To me, it's hard to deny that we are beyond the point where the technology we'll discuss today was just a fashion fad. We heard Emil and Frank. It's not only an emerging culture, maybe it's even the dominant culture. Shutting out technology from the classroom will not only limit us from technology as a tool, but also technology as a culture, which is the perfect recipe to me for a cultural generation conflict and not the best grounds for education of youth. Applied intentionally and wise, we'll see today how the forefront of technology, for example, artificial intelligence, will contribute to bringing quality in education for all, which is also the UN Sustainable Goal number 4. We also see how technology and the internet threatens the very core of society, and to whom we leave the internet if we take the easy way out and leave the PC, the smartphone, and the internet outside of the classroom. Beware that in March, the chief of the Norwegian Security Police reported net trolls as a threat to democracy. So this is a matter of utmost importance for everyone in this room. First, I'd like to introduce to the stage Heidi Arnesen Ausli, who is the CEO of ICT Norway, which is the interest organization for Norwegian ICT industry. Heidi recently commented in one of the national newspapers here in Norway that we'll probably see that no child in school today will have a job in the future that does not include technology in one way or another. So let's hear what the expectations from ICT Norway is to educators and educations. Thanks. And Heidi, please.